The head of the Bureau of Prison Chiefs was removed from his position today as the investigation into the death of alleged human trafficker and disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein continues. Epstein was found hanging in his Manhattan jail cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center behind me on August 10th. The New York City Medical Examiner's Office later ruled his death a suicide. Attorney General William Barr cited several irregularities at the facility, launching a Justice Department investigation. 2 guards allegedly fell asleep on the job leading up to Epstein's death and forged logs to cover it up.
I'm here at Grand Central where a large group of protesters have organized to demonstrate against the Trump administration policy on immigration. The sign behind me says U.S. immigration policy is a crime. I spoke to a smaller group of counter-protesters that are for Trump that say we need more security at the border and checks in both legal and illegal immigration. Several signs behind me say abolish ICE, close the camps, stop the raids, and justice for several children who died in ICE custody this year.
A Manhattan judge placed the bail at $200,000 today for a West Virginia homeless man accused of causing a major bomb scare at a New York City subway stop last week. 26-year-old Larry Kenton Griffin is accused with making and placing a false bomb at the Fulton Street stop located just steps away from World Trade Center. Surveillance video captures the moments Griffin takes 2 devices resembling pressure cookers out of a shopping cart and placed them at the stop. Police determined an hour later that the devices were not explosives and were actually rice cookers. Islamic extremists used pressure cookers in 2013 to kill 3 and injure hundreds during the Boston Marathon. New York City police officer Danielle Pantaleo fired today, 5 years after Eric Garner's death. In video of the 2014 arrest, Pantaleo can be seen putting Garner, who is black, in an illegal chokehold. Garner calls out, "I can't breathe." That phrase became the rallying cry of the Black Lives Matter movement. Police Commissioner James O'Neill made the call to fire Pantaleo. He's now facing backlash from the New York City Police Union that says the decision was politically motivated. Mayor Bill de Blasio promised justice for Eric Garner's family throughout his bid for the White House and has been criticized for not removing Pantaleo from the force sooner. Protesters interrupted de Blasio at a recent Democratic presidential debate in Detroit, calling out, "Fire Pantaleo." New York City's bustling Grand Central Station, clogged by hundreds of protesters calling a timeout on Trump's immigration policies.
Locking up people who have come legally to apply for asylum, putting children and families separately into concentration camps.
Were some of the reasons Alexis Danzig said she's been organizing anti-Trump events like this one since the president was first elected in 2016. When asked which 2020 presidential candidate would best fix the border crisis, she said,
"Anybody but Trump."
Police stood guard at Grand Central as demonstrators called to stop raids carried out by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, end deportation, close detention camps, and ultimately abolish ICE. That last sign is what drove Jennifer to delay her own commute home, grab an extra Trump 2020 banner, and defend federal border agents.
They're very hard-working people. A lot of them are Hispanic themselves. They want to keep our country safe. They want sex slavery to end. They want the drug trade to be slowed down.
She says Trump's call to tighten border security is just common sense.
There's no country in the world that you can travel to without providing documentation. I've been to Mexico many times. They want to know how long I'm going to be there, who I'm visiting, and what I'm bringing into their country.
Both sides faced off, some evoking religion, others defending their intelligence.
How much are they paying me? They're not paying me anything. Why every ignorant black man always telling me something, how much are they paying me? Why he got to be paying me the whole Trump time? Like I can't think for myself.
All while Democratic 2020 hopefuls take aim at Trump's efforts to build a border wall. Trump supporters at the rally say Dems had their chance to tackle immigration, and Trump needs another 4 years to fulfill his signature 2016 campaign promise. In northern France, a grocery run leaves you just a quick walk down the woods from this refugee camp. According to the town of Grand Saint, La Lanière camp houses about 1,500 residents. Migrants like Arian, a refugee from Kurdish Iraq, flock to France's northern border, desperate to gain passage to the UK.
Here to UK, you have to spend about £3,000, which is about $3,500 bucks. It's a lot of money.
Many refugees at La Linière camp come to Dunkirk at night to try to get on a ferry. They pay smugglers to get on the ferry to go to the UK, where they want to claim asylum. It's all a matter of fingerprints, and they don't want their fingerprints recorded in France. The European Union records fingerprints of asylum seekers in a system called Eurodac. As per the Dublin regulation, migrants that arrive to the UK with their fingerprints already in the system are deported back to the first European country they entered. Most of the camp's estimated 100 children are not registered in school, often because their parents want to stay under the radar.
They go to the lorries, to the people smugglers, and they pay money and they try and get to England on the lorries. So people are still doing this.
A British volunteer at the camp's Women's Center, Sarah Galloon, says the hefty price of passage leaves refugee women at risk of being sold into human trafficking. French security officers who declined to be interviewed on camera say they're not aware of any specific reports, only that the security force was put in place to avoid chaos.
They treat us as an animal, and worse than animal. Go see how the people live here. No electric, not enough space.
Refugees want out of the shelters. There are sites on England where asylum seekers are provided housing and where Arian says there's opportunity to find work that pays under the table.
You can see, like with the children's behaviour, how unsettled they are. Part of it is because they're not treated like human beings. This camp is not okay.
A bureaucratic blunder. Volunteers are seeking more structure within the camp. The mayor's office, volunteer orgs, and the French government signed onto an agreement that will fund the camp for 6 more months. But a more permanent solution will have to wait until after the French presidential election in April. In Dunkirk, I'm Danielle Wallace reporting. Raise an eyebrow at these hairdos. Founder of Salon Donde Dorian, Dorian Carbonell, wants to shock you. He styles top music artists here in Havana, Cuba. Dorian cuts hair in a country cut off from outside influence for decades.
It
made it complicated for us to have access to other styles, to other tendencies, and the Cuban style comes from a little creating and looking for ways to make different things.
His brother Damian Carbonell trades bright hair for bright ideas about how to expand the family business. Until recently, all businesses, even barbershops, were government-owned.
Here in Cuba, it's taboo, or it was for a very long time taboo, to start a business, legal or illegal. It was understood that in order to be a good person, you had to work for the government.
Change came in 2011 when the Communist Party set up 314 guidelines to allow small and medium-sized businesses to operate privately. Size matters to the Cuban government, and a national ban on advertising slows growth for businesses like Donde Dorian. Instead of ad campaigns lining the streets, you spot images of war heroes like Che Guevara, along with other political messages. We're standing in Havana Vieja, or Old Havana. Here you can see how close-knit city life is here in Cuba's capital. Now, it's difficult for Cubans to find places to rent because of housing shortages, and even more difficult for private entrepreneurs who are looking for places to expand their business. The government also controls real estate. Donde Dorian converted the family home into a salon. Damian and Dorian got a special license to open a second location just a few blocks away.
This is the majestic house that we've chosen in the Vedado Aner neighborhood, a zone that's still a residential area.
The new space will allow the brothers to open a school for stylists. But it goes beyond hairstyles and hairspray for the Carbonell brothers. It's about spreading individualism and the spirit of entrepreneurship to young people in a country so used to government control.
Y me dijiste que tienes muchas metas.
Now, you told me of many goals for hairstyling and for your business. Do you know what the American dream is, and is there a similar Cuban dream as well?
Sí, por supuesto, me parece que yes, of course. It seems to me that for every young entrepreneur, if you don't achieve your goals in life, there's no motivation. To achieve growth for my business so that people recognize my name and to make a legacy out of my job, that is my dream.
Salon Donde Dorian will launch a new social media campaign this summer as a way to get around Cuba's advertising ban. The brothers set trends with their tresses, and despite challenges, they want young people to set their own goals for the future. In Havana, Cuba, I'm Danielle Wallace reporting.